No.
In.
Can't be.
Yep,
no, it can't be.
Pulls it.
It's just going to pop over the lip. He's going to duff it. Oh, he pulled it. No. Oh, spinner. Ooh. Whoa.
We talked about a few weeks ago the first of these 3 short shots, the low running shot. And so what I want to ask you is, if I were to take this enlarged golf ball, and if I were to take this tiny little club, and if I aim the club face over that way, parallel to this stick down here, and if I swing out that way and I lean the shaft forward, what will that ball do? It'll stay low. What else will it do? It'll run. It's not gonna bite, is it? Because I'm gonna, if I hit it like this, what kind of spin will this ball have? Will it have pure backspin like this? Well, it really won't have top spin. I'd have to top it to do that, but it'll also be spinning in this direction too, right? So it's gonna have a limited amount of spin and it's gonna be tilted this way, so it's kind of like a hook shot. So that'll be low and that will probably run, correct? Well, the shot we're gonna talk about today is similar in the fact that we want it to be very low, but this one's gonna bite. So what is that gonna look like? Well, let's say that that's my golf ball and I aim the club face, as you can see, a little bit to the right of the flag, and I swing in this direction with that club face and this forward shaft. What will that ball probably do? It's a real question.
Waiting for a response. Will it go toward the, should go there and probably have backspin.
It'll have a lot of backspin because the face is more open, it has more loft. And since the face is aiming that way, it's not gonna go over here, is it? So the club face is king. In all these shots, the club face is king. So if I have the face aiming over on this stick and then I swing on this stick to the left here and I follow this plane, the ball won't go to the left just because I swing over there. Does that make sense? And so this ball, because I'm gonna hit down on it pretty sharply, is gonna do what? Have backspin. And it's gonna have a little bit of spin to the right. Well, that kind of spin kind of augers itself into the green and then checks a little and then it trickles out. That makes sense? So I want you to have this visualization when you're trying to hit this shot. It's very, very important that you get a feel for how dramatic you've got to be to hit this shot. So if I hit one here for you, I'm gonna lean the shaft forward a lot. I'm gonna aim the face at the right edge of that circle, and I'm gonna swing over this way someplace, and I'm gonna hit down on the ball, and you can see, it just kind of hits and this trickles, right? Does that make sense? So this is exactly the opposite of the low runner. What did I do to hit that one? And I swung to the right, okay? If I hit the low checking shot, I'm gonna hit down on this ball sharply and I'm gonna hold the face pretty square or even open, and I'm gonna swing over that way. And then what will that ball do? It looked entirely different, didn't it? Both of them ended up okay, didn't they? Both of them ended up okay, but there are times when, especially at Terra Vita, where you cannot afford to have the ball take off on you. You cannot afford to have this ball go like that. Like we were talking about a second ago with Nancy asked, if you hit it over the green on number 2 and the pin's on the back, and you hit that shot, it's gonna roll over that little mound and run off the green. And now you've got another chip shot when you only had a shot about this far. Okay, so if I'm on the back of number 2 or just over the back of number 2 and the pin's right there and I hit this shot, the odds are not with me that that's gonna stop in time. I can hit that shot, but odds are it's gonna do that. What would I wanna do in this situation? Well, I wanna make sure that I'm hitting a shot that won't go too far. So I'm gonna aim the face at the right edge of the circle, I'm gonna swing over this way. I'm gonna hit down the ball pretty sharply, and now I've got a chance. See the difference? See the difference? Okay. You've gotta have both shots. Everybody sing along with me. You've gotta have both shots.
Can you hit a shot like that and instead of having it kind of roll out, almost stop?
You can, you have to be more violent. Good question. Did everybody hear a question? It was, can you hit a shot like that and make it really check? You can. You have to be much more violent with your geometry. You have to swing far more down and far more across and far more open face, and you got to hit it on the heel. And so, I mean, you just have to take, if that shot right there was, say, a 3 on a scale of 10, you got to do an 11 to make it bite. And on our greens with this grass, it may not actually back up. It may just grab a little bit more. So if I really go to the extreme and do that, you know, it'll bite a little bit better. And as you get better and better at the technique of this shot, you're certainly welcome to try to do that. You're certainly welcome to try to really make it check. See that one? And this isn't a lob shot. This is a low checking shot. Okay, so next week we're going to talk about a lob shot. And a lob shot would look more like that. Okay, so you can stop it with, and your question is a really good one. You can stop it with spin, or you can stop it with height. You can stop it with spin, or you can stop it with height. Okay? Either one.
Ball position is still back.
If you're gonna hit it low, it's easier to hit it low with the ball back in your stance. I can hit it low, but then I have to really push my hands down. So see the kind of awkward address location if the ball's off my left shoulder? It's easier just to put it back there, and then I don't have to go to kind of contorted locations to do this. And it's also easier to hit down on it, so it'll go low. I can't begin to tell you how important it is that you feel like you hit down on this shot, that you are striking the ball like that, like you're hitting on top of the ball this way. You're hopefully not gonna do that, but the sincere feeling is you're gonna hit right there. The feeling, not the execution. Sorry? Well, yeah, I mean, that's a low runner that you do not want to be dealing with, okay? That is not a good shot. That is not dependable. So, back in your stance is better. I like using my collarbones because they're the same length every day. I can change the width of my stance, and now the off my right foot is too far back. So I like using collarbones for ball position. I can line this up with my right shoulder really easy just by looking down. I can line it up with my left shoulder really easy by looking down. So ball position wise, also I think you need to stand pretty close to this ball. I like to almost put my hands on my legs this way, but you can have a little bit of space there. It's okay. Some players find that if they have a little bit more space, it's actually easier to swing across that way because they have room to get their hands past their legs. Tell me what direction, guys, tell me what direction this grip is going. Just watch the grip and tell me what direction this grip is going. Out, right? And then now where's it going? Where does it end up? Behind my heel stance line? Okay. So if you're hitting this shot and you find that the grip is out in front of you like this, that's probably in the danger zone. Be careful of that. It still works. You can do it this way, and there are some really famous short game teachers that recommend that you keep the club on a vertical Ferris wheel kind of an angle. I just think that's remarkably difficult, even at a high level, to repeat. So I think it's easier if you swing the grip on a straight line over this way. That's easier to repeat, isn't it? All right, so if you think about where the grip is gonna go, the grip's gonna go out this way, and then it's gonna go across this way. Make sense? Now, last point. In the first clinic, we talked about how you're gonna fall into 2 different patterns, and I don't really care which pattern you use, they both work, they just don't work together. One is where you use very little arms and hands and use a lot of feet, knees, hips, and shoulders. I mean, you can see my hands are in exactly the same wrist cog, my elbows are the same bend as they were at address. Why is that? Well, if I use my body and not my arms and hands, I can come right back to the place that I rehearsed at address very, very easily. The second pattern is you keep one of your shoulders really still and there's a lot of arms and hands, okay? a lot of wrist action, but there's no feet, knees, hips, shoulders. They stay very, very still. Why is that? I can come right back to the place that I addressed it very easily if my shoulders don't move around. When does it get complicated? When you start moving all this stuff around and trying to set your hands and bend your elbows and straighten them out in time and get your body moving. It just becomes, you only got to swing this long, so how much time do you have to do that much stuff? Besides that, the odds of you being able to control the distance when you get all this moving around is astronomical. You're gonna hit it too far or too short most every time. And then you do hit a good one and you go, how did I do that? You can't repeat it. So your distance control is built into limiting either your arm and hand, your elbow and hand action, or in limiting your body. One or the other. Two completely separate buckets. Make sense? So your club face is going to aim a little right of your target. The grip is going to go left of your target, okay? And the club is going to go up and down pretty sharply. Up and down pretty sharply. What we found in doing the data at TPI was the best chippers and pitchers fell into one of these two buckets. Though as you go up the list of players who don't get it up and down or proximity isn't very good around the greens, they're using more and more of both. Why would I want to put this on the heel? Well, if I hold this really lightly and I hit the ball on the toe, look at what the face does. See it wiggle? If I hold this really lightly and I hit it on the heel, what does the face do? Nothing. So because of the loft and because the sweet spot is behind the shaft, the stable part of the club is closer to the heel with a high lofted club. Now you get to about an 8-iron or 7-iron, that's not true. But with a high lofted club, the stable part is on the heel. Well, if you are cutting across it like this and you really want it to spin, the closer to the hosel you can hit it, the better. I'm not recommending that you shank it. I'm not saying that. But if you can get it really close to a shank, that's really good. And it takes, it takes a decent level of skill to be able to do that. You see how soft that was? Okay. What would happen if I'm swinging straight down like this and I swing the grip to the left and I close the face? What would happen? You'll swing the grip this way, you'll go down on the ball and you close the face and it's going to go over there and you're trying to hit it over there. And that's a double crosser, and psychologically, double crossers just make you want to go in because you feel like you've lost complete control of your game. I mean, it's nothing like what you intended, and so you just get depressed. So what are our rules? Club face slightly right of the target. Grip goes across. Club face stays open. And you're gonna hit down on the ball like that, okay? Like you feel like you're just gonna hit the top of the ball with the bottom of the club. You won't, but that's what you're gonna feel like you do. You do not wanna try to sweep this because you'll scull it and it'll run too far. No sweeping here. This is a descending blow. To create the spin too, you gotta hit down on it to make it back up.